Morning. It's the way Singapore wakes up. Wake up, Glenn, Angel, and the Flying Dutchman. Wake up in the morning feeling like Kiss 92's Big Show.
Good morning, Singapore. Our guests for today, Eve Ang, mother of two. And fitness enthusiast, and she can do anything. Anyway, we'll get to know Eve a little bit more. We also have with us Tan Chuan, who is the Chief Agency Officer at Income Insurance. Welcome, Chuan.
Thank you.
Of course, Chuan has over 25 years of experience. Thank you for being here today. Eve, tell us a little bit more about what happened with your daughter. I believe it was the first weekend of the COVID circuit breaker.
Incident was really funny. She's about 2ish then. We were trying to prepare for dinner, and then she started telling me she wanted to get something from one of the rooms. She ran and went straight for the door's seal. Ooh. And then her tiny little head broke open. It was about a finger with started bleeding all over. We couldn't see where it was because the whole face was bloody, everywhere was blood, and then we were like screaming. The whole entire family was screaming. It's circuit breaker, everybody's home. We just tried to clean her up and then decided we need to go to the hospital. But which hospital was the key? Yeah, because it's circuit breaker. You can't walk into any public hospital, and then what's there to test for COVID? There's nothing to test for COVID, right? At that juncture. Yeah. So we just straight headed to a private hospital, and immediately they went through the whole COVID procedure. Everybody was isolated, and then they said we need to get a specialist for it. Of course, they asked me about whether I had insurance and all that, because the bill is going to come up a lot of money. It could be. I didn't think too much back then, but because I run a business, and I was thinking, damn it, where am I going to find that money?
Right.
Yeah, money is going to be a lot. Because I'm in a private hospital, there's COVID charges, there's all these things that are mounting up. But she's still my child, so that goes on. And then she got stitches done. We had to stay overnight because she's very young. They were afraid of concussion and all that. But otherwise, she's fine. The bill in the end came up to be about 16 grand.
Wow.
Yeah, 16 grand. But when I walked out, I didn't pay a cent.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
That's the key. That's the key. So with that story being told, that must have been quite a nerve-wracking moment. I do want to ask Chuan Hao this question then. In this situation, what kind of insurance would be used for a time like this? Are we talking like personal accident or integrated shield plan?
Right. I think it's a mixture of both. Typically, shield plans require hospitalizations before it can be activated. Personal accident plans, on the other hand, cover accidental medical expenses, outpatient. So when the insured is injured in this case, for example, if it had required just simple stitches without a visit to the hospital, it would have covered it at the clinic. The difference in having these two coverages and the importance of having both is because shield plans typically come with higher coverages, but it also comes with co-payments. And in Eve's case, you just heard she didn't pay a single cent. It's probably a mixture of both, right? Where the shield plan is designed for the hospitalization, whereas the PA plan, the personal accident plans, which typically have lower limits but allow the claim from some of them from the first dollar upwards, which is a really important feature. So very often, many of our clients and customers, like Eve, right, would have a mixture of both to take care of both the hospitalization as well as the outpatient accidental bills.
Well, Chuan Hao, you've got a very nice voice.
Very sexy today. After
It's so comfortable to listen to. I was like,
Yeah.
So interesting. I do want to ask, Chuan Hao, if that's the case, so personal accident insurance covers hospitalization. So in times of emergency admission and things like that, what are the key things that are required so that a patient can have full coverage from the hospital?
Hold on. Chuan Hao is going to answer that question on The Big Show TV. Meantime, here's G Idol with I Want That on Kiss 92.
Okay, so I'll ask that question again. It's a twofold question. Does a personal accident plan cover hospitalization? And in times of emergency admission,
what are the key things required so a patient actually can have full coverage from their hospital insurance?
Okay, so personal accident plans typically cover expenses for accidents, which would include both visits to the GP, clinics, as well as hospitalization. Hospitalization plans, though, cover medical expenses regardless of whether it was an accident or illness, as long as you are hospitalized. So the design of hospitalization plans do vary from different companies. And for income, no pre-authorization is required before you go to the hospital, which for us is something really important, because when an accident happens or when an acute sickness happens, you just want to get to the best medical care in the quickest time. And I think that's really important. It's also important to, as the show claims, to know your coverage before you need it, right?
Yeah.
Because there is a difference between whether you go for a panel or a non-panel doctor, and that could make a difference in the amount that you typically co-pay.
Right. When you say panel doctor, you mean you're a specialist.
Yes, there are panels of specialists and other specializations that different customers would want to visit.
Right. Is that why you decided to take your daughter to a private hospital?
No. But it was the closest hospital that we are living next to. So that was the first choice. And we wanted to expose her to the least amount of possible COVID, because she's asthmatic. She has a lot of problems. She has already gone to hospital multiple times and the doctors multiple times ever since she's born.
Oh no.
Yeah, she's the one that needs the most amount of coverage. The son, on the other hand, is a different story. Play sports, nothing happened. Thank God. That would be another story altogether.
But is she better now? How old is she now?
She is 6 right now, still crazy, still dancing every day, learning how to do TikTok videos, which is driving me crazy. But
Still
otherwise,
a cute age.
I think that's adorable.
Not cute. She's still running. The minute she knocks her head, she cries. Next minute, she's running out of the door again. So this is the kind of kid that you really be like, maximum coverage. How much do you want? It's okay. Maximum coverage, please.
If
not, the bills will mount up, because she has been in hospital on average once a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
But how was the experience? I mean, when you sent her to the A&E, I know it was a difficult time during the COVID period, but did they see to your daughter almost right away?
Yeah. They were still quite fast about it. They look at it, just asked me straight up, told me it would definitely need stitches before the doctor came, and then he confirmed, and then they asked me, would you want to see a general surgeon or a specialist? But it's right on her face, so we actually opted for it's right here. She has a Harry Potter cut right across her face like that, so we asked for a specialist. We want to minimize obviously any scars possible. Scarring. We did have a minor complication post the whole stay, but again, we had to restitch it and everything was fine, and we just had to claim the subsequent bills after that, which is really not much after that.
So-
But multiple visits.
Your daughter was sedated and stitched.
Yes.
Why did she have to be admitted subsequently?
She's only about 2 then. They were afraid of concussion because she went straight for the door. Yeah. So, it just split open. And then she was 1 minute hysterical, the other minute dancing away. So we didn't know what to do.
Even then, wow.
Yeah. So we still have footage of her dancing in the hospital cot. Yeah, because she there's a cot for her. Because they are very young, they sleep in little cots instead. Yeah. So they were like, this sedation will she will be able to be knocked out for 2 hours so that we can stitch her up. I said, okay, sure. Within 40 minutes, she's up. Right at the last stitch, she's up. And then we are like,
Wow.
the nurse went, okay, just smile at me and go. I said, yeah, welcome to my life. During circuit breaker, welcome to my life. Yeah, within a few days, once we discharged, she's still jumping off places, but
Oh, wow.
they are kids.
I mean, honestly,
she
she sounds like a very resilient little child, even
is, she is. Yeah,
before
so
too. You mentioned that there were some like follow-ups that you had to go to as well, even
Yes.
after the stitching.
Yes.
Was that covered by insurance?
Yes, everything's covered. We had to file. We had to pay up because it's at the clinic. It's no longer done at the hospitals, but all these bills will be submitted back to them, and then they will just mail you a check. Or in today's time, it's pay now. They will pay now to your account.
Oh, very fast.
Yeah, so it's much faster these days. Back then was still check and all that. That was a few years ago, but right now it's pay now. Yeah, I know, because I keep having to claim all her personal accidents and all whatnot.
But that's
because the PA plan covers them for hand, foot, mouth disease these
Oh,
days. Yeah.
right. Okay.
So it's a slightly different coverage these days.
Okay,
Okay.
we'll go for a traffic update, and then I'm going to ask Chuan Hao a question. Okay? Stand by.
Can't drink without thinking about you. Is it too late to tell you that everything means nothing if I can't have you? I can't write one song that's not about you. Can't drink without thinking about you. Is it too late to tell you that everything means nothing if I can't have you?
Kiss 92 traffic.
We've got your usual heavy morning traffic on the BKE, KJE, and PIE, but do look out for an accident that has taken place on the BKE towards PIE after the KJE exit with congestion until Mandai Road exit. Be sure to avoid lane 1. So wherever you are this morning, do continue to drive safe.
Good morning and welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guests for this morning, Eve Ang as well as Tan Chuan Hao. Chuan Hao, of course, the Chief Agency Officer at Income Insurance. And my question for you right now, Chuan Hao, is does personal accident plans cover hospitalization?
Yes, certainly. Personal accident plans do cover hospitalizations. It even covers outpatients as long as it's due to an accident. For hospitalization plans, though, it would cover times of admission into the hospital, and that could arise from accidents, it could arise from illness. So it is usually useful to have a combination of both to take care of both those kind of bills. For hospitalization plans, some companies, depending on your insurer, may require different procedures. For income, no pre-authorization is required, which is really, really useful because in the event of an accident or an acute illness, the first thing and the thing you want to do is to get the best possible medical care in the quickest time.
As in the case of Eve
As in the case of
and her daughter at that time.
Yes, that's right.
So Eve, your daughter's recovery. I want to go back to that. The follow-ups that happened. It was all covered by insurance. Can you explain how you managed those bills and what you were mentioning that you were paid by Pay Now.
Yeah.
But what was the process like? What steps did you have to take to ensure that everything was covered?
Okay, so following the hospital discharge memo, all you have to do is actually keep all the receipts, scan it, and just file it to the agent that you have or the portal.
Okay.
And then that's it. All you have to do is just wait. They will follow. They will just check on the bills. I think it was done fairly quickly, within a month. But they did remind me before I filed that, just file everything all at one shot. So, however many visits we had, that was the final bill.
I see.
yeah. So on a typical, they already told me on a typical it's probably 3. I had like 5. Yeah, because she had in between the second follow up, they found a little blotch on her head, so they decided to redo it again, remove the thing, sedate her, mildly sedate her, not the full sedation, just mildly get her slightly drowsy so that they can actually do a quick one.
Right.
And then we had more follow ups because she's very young. They were very concerned that a young little girl and her face.
Yeah.
And then they covered all the medications that are involved because there's a lot of cream involved to remove scarring and whatnot, just to prevent anything from happening. Yeah. But otherwise, everything else is covered, including that accidental like little blotch.
The blotch. Yeah.
Honestly, Eve, you make it sound very easy, like collect receipts, collect the memo. Chuan Hao, is that really how it is? Like, how should policy holders actually handle their claims after the discharge?
Right. So there are 2 processes for the integrated plans. Typically, the hospital would process it for them if the patient has given the authorization to do so. For personal accident plans, though, the claims go slightly different. So it's like what Eve has said, that post-hospitalization, submit the bills. Many insurers now, you can do claims online and it's really quick. You can just submit it there and payment is as quick as her daughter ran into the door.
Yeah, they're very good.
Yeah.
Now, Chuan, how early can parents buy a personal accident plan for their children, and how soon will it take effect?
Right. Typically, for most plans, it depends on when each insurer allows the infant to buy the plan. For us, it's as young as 15 days old that they can be covered. And you'll be surprised at how
first
many
month.
claims we have
Yes.
for even very young children. And typically, these PA plans are really helpful because they provide coverage for medical expenses due to accidents, which can really happen anywhere. And the place that most accidents happen is at home.
Right.
Kicking the bed frame is one. And this morning I had an incident with the bed frame as well. But
Oh
yeah.
no, is your toe okay?
My toe is fine, thank you. Yeah, some plans are more comprehensive. Some personal accident plans do cover infectious diseases like HFMD, chickenpox, or dengue, even shingles. And the first two, HFMD and chickenpox, are particularly relevant to parents of young children. It does happen. Some PA plans even have extensions that cover food poisoning or have benefits that cover TCM treatments, which are getting more popular these days.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, we are speaking to Eve Ang as well as Tan Chuan Hao, Chief Agency Officer at Income Insurance. He has over 25 years of experience. We'll continue talking to them on The Big Show TV. It's 8:17.
Kiss 92 Time Check brought to you by Poo.
So, Eve, you've got two kids. Financial planning, everybody realizes is crucial. How crucial do you think it is for parents to be aware of their insurance coverage, especially when it comes to accidents with their kids?
Okay, so with my firstborn, I had nothing. It's just an outlay, but you really don't know. With the second, each of my bills are 20,000. Yeah, so far. So you really don't know. It may be a little sum of money that you pay out to the insurance, but the bills actually mount up year on year. And within a year, I think she broke record until the agent told me.
The way you put it, I can't help but
your plan.
You gotta giggle, right?
Do you sit down and talk to your daughter like that?
Yeah.
You know, you're costing me a lot of money.
Yeah, I tell her that every day.
Yeah, you walk up to her one morning and go,
Oh,
honey,
no,
guess
poor
what?
girl."
You've broken a record. Well done.
Because with the first one, you think, oh, I have the typical, oh, you're a little boy, very active little boy. But there comes number two. They say, God, it's not fair.
What are you saying, Eve? Stop it.
I have a very active second born, which my friends will tell you that there's Eve and there's like version times 100.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that's like, and she's very, very active. So she has been, she has a lot of little problems like asthma. She also has asthma, and then she had a case of salmonella that they couldn't find out, and I was already in a children's hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, they couldn't find out, so I stayed there for 2 weeks with her, which was quite an adventure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I think her asthma will eventually go away.
So far, no. As of this morning, I can hear it. So I'm not counting on it. But yeah.
One day, all of a sudden, it'll be gone.
It'll be gone. Yeah.
Kids,
Yeah,
sometimes
hopefully
they
she
have-
grows out of it, yeah?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
we never know. I'm asthmatic also, but it's okay. Life goes on.
There,
Yeah.
he's another asthmatic.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah.
FD.
Yeah.
So sometimes he'll be talking halfway and all of a sudden it's like,
yeah. Yeah, but it's important for everybody to know their coverage, actually.
Yeah.
Even for us adults, I think so. Because you never know when you need to use it
Yeah.
with all the amount of illnesses and all that viruses spreading around. Yeah.
you know, I mean, it's a good thing that dengue is also covered, I understand, under personal accident plans. But why is this the case? Huh? I mean, it's a good thing, but
It
I'm
is,
just wondering why.
Well, some insurers like Income, we do recognize that there is accidental nature of contracting such infectious diseases, such as dengue, and the value that these coverage does bring to parents, right? So we do review our scope of coverage regularly, and we evolve the design of the plans to suit the customers, right? To be more customer centric. Currently, some PA plans do cover infectious diseases, some up to 25 infectious diseases. And the more prevalent ones that we do see that parents do make a claim for are HFMD and dengue.
You know, I'm just thinking, can kids run off their parents' plans?
Yeah, certainly they can. There are some PA plans that do provide a token cover or a tag-on cover to the parents' plans, and that is fairly common as well. However, the drawback for such plans is that typically they do have a much lower limit when it comes to children. So some could be 50% of the parents' coverage or 25%, which may not be ideal. And if the insured did not know this beforehand, it could have an adverse impact when the claim actually comes. Alternatively, parents like Eve could consider getting children covered under their own. I wanted to say plan, but for Eve it looks like plans with an S.
Plans. We have everything.
Yeah, so that the parents can enjoy the full coverage that they would have wanted from the start.
So for Eve, definitely one of the plans you have is a personal accident plan
yes.
for your daughter,
Yes.
right? Were there any other incidents where you claimed using the PA plan?
She has glued her head before. Yeah.
She has what ahead?
Yeah, glue. We had to. Okay. So she actually fell backwards off a sofa. Hit.
So one on the front, one on the back.
Yeah. She has multiple, so it's okay. Everything been there, done that. Okay. So she fell off. She hit. We went to the A&E, and obviously we decided, okay, since you went to the same hospital, we'll just go there again. And then the doctor looked at her. Oh, today no need to stay. You all can go home, but I need to glue her head. Yeah. So even gluing head is some amount of money, but you have a follow-up. You also have a follow-up because it's still an open wound. Yeah, all that is also covered under personal accident. Yeah. So the personal accident plan actually helps on instances like this. So we will actually tell everybody to buy it because you never know. One cut on the leg and all that. This girl will have it all. Yeah, she would have it all. This little one.
I'm just listening to Eve and the way she's talking about it, and you were, and Chuan, how you were saying how with Eve it's multiple plans, it's plans. Should parents actually get both plans for their kids? Is that ideal?
Yeah, I mean, if with proper planning, personally, I would recommend that you have both kinds of plans, and beyond just personal accident hospitalization, which is the topic for today. But I think parents should also consider other forms of insurance coverage for their kids when they are much younger. I mean, the premiums are much lower. There are no medical conditions attached to it. So it's a really good idea to consider all forms of insurance when they are much younger, before they have left side, right side on their head also.
This one, a lot.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go for a break in just a while. Got a couple of questions for Eve and a question for Chuan Hao as well. Okay, let's just stand by so that we don't have to ask the question twice.
Okay.
And I don't think we have enough time for you to answer the question either. Okay, stand by. Traffic coming up.
Stereo.
Kiss 92 traffic.
Look out for heavy traffic on Upper Bukit Timah Road towards the city after Hillview Road. Elsewhere on the PRE towards Changi Airport, a vehicle has broken down after Tampines Avenue 5. Wherever you are this morning, do continue to drive safe.
Good morning and welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guests for this morning, Eve Ang as well as Tan Chuan Hao, Chief Agency Officer at Income Insurance. Now, Eve's daughter had an incident during the COVID period where she fell, hit her head, started bleeding. There was a hole in her head. She had to rush the daughter to the emergency room. Now, Eve, what have you learned from this experience regarding handling medical emergencies and navigating the healthcare system?
What did I learn? You definitely need to have insurance because you don't want to be the one that's paying off a $20,000 bill. Yeah, and you need to think fast on your feet where you decide to go. But basically, you need to know your coverage very well because integrated plans have coverage either to cover just public hospitals and through to private.
Right.
But obviously at their young age is really very minimal cost. So we bought the maximum there is because young kids, you think they don't cost a lot, but actually they are worse than the full-size human beings. Yeah, a lot worse. I didn't realize it until I had a second one, but it's a different story. But we definitely need all this, and our healthcare is great. Yeah, Singapore healthcare is great.
So based on your experience, that would be the advice you give to other parents.
Yes.
Okay, which is
less complicated in Singapore than in the US. So it's a lot easier. Everything's paid up by the insurer. You don't actually have to do much more. Yeah, you don't have to think about how much you have to pay. It might be only a couple of $100s for premiums. During the first year, I think it was less than a few $100s. Even for adults, it's only a few $100s at my mid-40s age. It gets up as we age, but it's only a very small premium. But at least it's covered. So the first thing is definitely, of course, the integrated shield. Then if you can, stretch your budget a little more, buy PA and the rest of your whatnot, like critical illnesses and all that.
right. What would your advice be to parents, Chuan Hao?
Well, my advice to parents would be similar to what this show advocates, right? To know your coverage before you need it, and you got to have all types of coverage. In particular, for young children, I think PA plans are particularly important. They cover medical expenses due to accident, and from what you have heard, from what we have heard from Eve, it is really important because accidents can happen to both the kids at any time. Some PA plans do cover for infectious diseases, which are really helpful, especially in Singapore, where there are lots of mosquitoes, dengue. Yeah, so that's really important. Second, some people may not think they need PA plans because they have shield plans, which are hospitalization plans. But it's still important because sometimes the costs are outpatient and not necessarily hospitalized as well. And that's where I think it's important to have a combination of both. So not just know your coverage, but to have your coverage before you need it, right? Which I think it's really important. Maybe just to round off, it's also important for us to know the design of the plan because the benefit limits may not be what you thought it was. It could be per accident or per year. And in Eve's case, I think per accident is probably the right way to do it. As a parent myself of two, when accidents happen, especially to children, the parents naturally think of best medical care first, quick medical care.
Yes.
But once reality sets in, which Eve has mentioned, the cost can be really, really high. So it's important to have that coverage early.
I think for those of you who are watching us on The Big Show TV, we have an infographic to flash right now. There you go, the Integrated Shield Plan. You can insure your child from as young as 14 days old, is what Chuan Hao mentioned. And for the personal accident plan, this may cover conditions like hand, foot, and mouth disease, dengue, COVID, and insect bites as well. Go spread the word.
Chuan Hao, I do have one other question for you. Are there any common misconceptions about PA plans?
Yeah, there are. Some people would think that PA plans would cover some diseases or critical illness, which are common, right? But it is not the case. There are specific plans to cover for specific needs. So, for example, for critical illness, for hospitalization, there are specific plans. I can see where the confusion comes because if you are hospitalized due to an accident, the PA plan does cover that. But generally, it is still better to look at what you think you need or the insured needs.
Right,
Yeah?
right.
Yeah. So it's best to consult your financial advisor who would be able to do something more holistic for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure speaking to you, Chuan Hao, and of course having you in the studio as well, Eve. I hope everything works out with
I
your
hope so
daughter.
too.
What
Fingers
do you want
crossed.
it to be less active or what? Not
Yeah,
really.
just
So
Just less accidents. Just less accidents.
Less accidents. Yeah.
okay.
Less active would be good so that I get more rest. That's impossible. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Eve,
Thank
for
you.
coming in, and thank you once again, Chuan Hao.
Thank you.